Good evening to you all. Welcome to the English News Bulletin, and for this edition, we'll begin with the headlines. Political analysts on the security tensions in the Eastern DRC assert that the conflicting decisions within the AU Peace and Security Council may exacerbate the problem of insecurity in the region. The Ministry of Agriculture is urging landowners to utilize their cultivated land fully during this agriculture season. On the international scene, a group of women from smallholder farms in Zimbabwe have mobilized resources to build a shelter for expectant mothers who live far from the nearest clinic. Glad to have your company tonight. My name is Olive. Netting out the news in details. Political analysts on the security tensions in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo assert that the conflicting decisions within the AU Peace and Security Council may exacerbate the problem of insecurity in the region rather than resolving it. Adam Squizera with the details.
The primary agenda of the AU Peace and Security Council, held on 4th March this year, centered on garnering support for the Southern African Development Community SADC military mission in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. This involved mobilizing resources from the Peace Fund as well as providing essential equipments. The Council's broader objective was to secure support for this mission from the organization and other relevant stakeholders. Ahead of the AU Peace and Security Council meeting, the government of Rwanda conveyed its apprehensions to the AU Commission regarding the anticipated decisions. There were concerns that the proposed measures might not offer the sustainable solution to the persistent insecurity issues prevailing in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo for the past 30 years. The deputy government spokesperson, Alem Kurarinda, underscored it in a recent exclusive interview with RBA.
How
can SADC military will support the FARDC that are aimed to fight instead of solving the issue, and also in collaboration with the genocidal militia and the terrorist group FDLR? So, this is the first issue Rwanda has demonstrated. So whatever can happen later, no one could blame us that they were not told. Secondly, this FARDC, they are also partnering with the mercenaries. It's obvious and everyone knows that they are also collaborating with the Burundian army in accordance to their mutual agreements. And again, this FARDC is also collaborating with other rebel group named Wazalendo. We all see their acts on social media. Then how could SADC collaborate with the national military of its member state, but also collaborates with all those groups? And that's the issue Rwanda is demonstrating. These resolutions issued by the Council on Saturday include provisions endorsing the peace process through Nairobi and Rwanda talks. Of particular note is the emphasis on mobilizing necessary support for the Southern African Development Community (SADC) military mission in the Eastern DRC, encompassing funding from its peace fund and the provision of essential equipments. A political expert, Gasuminari Jean-Baptiste, explains that these resolutions underscore the vested interests of some African countries in addressing the security issues in DRC. It means that for the sake, SADC also involved in the trash in DRC for collaborating with those rebel groups, including genocidal militia FDLR, plus all those other groups that are dedicated to carry out massacres, and they later seek down how they can get support from other organizations, and that's why they approached the AU Peace and Security Council, hence to gain support from their trash activities, because it's a trash when you know that you are working closely with the military that is planning for a genocide. Indeed, I don't have any time to name it, except saying that it's trash. Congolese refugees residing in various refugee camps in Rwanda for years after fleeing the massacres carried out by the FDLR terrorist group hold the belief that the collaboration between the foreign forces, armed groups, and the Congolese military, FARDC, strengthens the resolve to remain in exile. We are really saddened by watching SADC member states, including Burundi, Tanzania, Malawi and South Africa, to be called up to kill our relatives, as the only support they found that is necessary, instead of resolving peace and security in DRC. It is very sad to see South Africa engaging in this, yet it experienced apartheid back in the days, and it's now supporting DRC in the killings. The political analyst Ambassador Joseph Mutaboba warns that African and international support for any SAMI DRC mission could potentially worsen insecurity in the Great Lakes region. The consequences that are there is that the countries in the region could have their role in that war. And more to that is the other similar thing. They want to fight for the genocide perpetrators who wants to keep the momentum by killing people. It means that when it's from Rwanda and now there are some signs of the genocide in DRC, it means later on we must see other countries in the region facing it as well. So when we see some countries closely collaborating with the genocidal militia, literally it's something that you cannot accept at all. Addressing the root cause of the problem rather than relying solely on the military force is essential for achieving sustainable solutions for the insecurity in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. I don't think that the war or equipments, plus the support from the AU, will solve the security issue in DRC. They started accepting that the only way to solve the security crisis is to pass through the regional processes, and they later ended up supporting the war. They contradicted themselves because the group they're fighting, they have a tangible reason of why they are fighting, which touches on their lives and their people. So I don't think it's a war which you think you can end just like that, because there's some people who met together and given a band of dollars because it's what DRC always offer in order to rob those decisions to be made, and then you think that the issue will end just like that. I don't really see it like that. Rwanda asserts its preparedness to confront any potential aggressors aiming to declare war and violate the security of its citizens. However it can be, either taking decisions or not, the security still was there, and the insecurity can also affect Rwandan borders, and that's why we kept to ensure the security of our citizens and our territory. We not wait the decision to be taken and later take some measures, and whoever would try to even declare war to it will fight. While the Council issued these resolutions, the European Union has recently urged the government of DRC to adhere the terms of peace process of Nairobi and Rwanda. Additionally, the EU called for avoidance of hate speech by certain DRC senior officials. The European Union emphasized that addressing the insecurity in the eastern part of the DRC should prioritize dialogues over military actions. Currently, the SADC forces within the Semi-DRC mission are working in collaboration with the FARDC forces, the Federal Terrorist Group and other various armed groups, mercenaries and the Burundian army. Their joint efforts are focused on combating the M23 group, composed of Congolese individuals who are sad that they're fighting for their rights and on behalf of their relatives who have been killed by the DRC government. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the detailed report. Now in Muhanga, women employed in factories expressed that they have found their place in this sector due to the supportive policies of the Rwandan government, which provided them with opportunities. Investors acknowledge that this approach has resulted in the addition of new and more productive workforce. Follow the details on the story. The stone processing plant in Muhanga district has been operational for 4 years now. Currently, over 70% of its employees, including machine operators, are women. I use a machine that lays stones and shapes them. In a day, I can process 30 kilograms of small stones, while for larger ones, I can handle 70 to 80 kilograms. Men working in this factory acknowledge that women contribute highly in everyday activity.
For large stones, we can process between 60 kilograms to 70 kilograms. And in this line of work, women also demonstrate their strength to carry out these tasks effectively. They are fully capable as well.
At various times, women have emphasized that the support they received from the government was crucial in empowering them to pursue roles traditionally held by men throughout history. Nowadays, women can contribute effectively to all workplaces and activities thanks to the support of our government. We deeply appreciate the leadership of our country, particularly the recognition of our value by the President of the Republic. Therefore, I encourage all girls to be confident and actively pursue various opportunities in the workforce. Alan Cheikh Mayuke, the CEO and founder of ALTM, expresses that over the 4 years of working closely with a group of women, they have continually impressed him with their capabilities and built his confidence in their abilities.
That's a commendable perspective. In our company, because of the leadership of President Paul Kagame, we recognize that women play a significant role beyond traditional roles. Instead of confining them to the kitchen, we acknowledge their contribution to family and societal development. In fact, over 7% of our workers comprises women, and in our future hiring endeavors, we aim to prioritize the recruitment of even more women. While both men and women are essential in our line of work, we understand the unique value that women bring to the table.
ALTM is currently in the process of expanding its operations and integrating heavy machinery into its production line. While the company primarily processes amethyst stones at present, it is also planning to venture into processing lithium stones in the near future.
In 15 days, we are hosting Chinese experts who will provide training to women. In modern industries, physical strength is no longer a prerequisite. Instead, knowledge in operating machinery. It is just pressing buttons and issuing commands, tasks that are not gender-specific. Therefore, there are no jobs exclusively designated for women or men. Anyone, regardless of gender, can excel in those roles.
The founder of the company also said that celebrating International Women's Day every year is a tribute to the value that women bring to his company's management and production, as recognized by the government of Rwanda. Still speaking of women's empowerment, the World Bank's 2024 report on the status of women in business and law positioned Rwanda among the countries that have implemented laws to bridge barriers hindering women's access to financial resources. Additionally, the report commends Rwanda's commitment to ensuring women receive their full salary during maternity leave. Adam Squizera with the report.
Musanabera Devot boldly approached financial institutions and in turn expressed confidence in her projects, securing a substantial loan of approximately 40 million Rwandan francs for a cattle breeding project. Nyira Habineza Rose echoes a similar success story, attesting to advantages for engaging with financial institutions.
We have a milk collection center that is based in Nyamata, whereas every morning we are eligible to supply approximately 150 to 170 liters. Meanwhile, we can supply almost 220 liters daily. I'm now able to purchase and share the benefits with my family, because before, no man was even able to think about big projects like building a house or engaging into business.
Ruzinda Nawendi Olnela stands in the category of decent activities as a technology company, MediXR has won over 30 million Rwandan francs in a brief period since its inception. She attributes this success to the country's leadership that actively fosters inclusivity.
Since we now have many opportunities, that really helps us, particularly for the fact that they have now even empowered young people who are doing such things. We have a big vision ahead, since these funds we got has greatly helped in various services we offer, such as product scaling and customer acquisition.
In the 10th annual report assessing women in business and law across 190 countries, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, and Togo emerged as a notable performance. Those nations have implemented a series of reforms in 2022 and 2023, which effectively bridged barriers that previously hindered women from achieving their full potential. In local parliamentarian, Batishmana Chantal, a member of the Rwanda Women Parliamentary Forum, highlights the significant strides in the legislation benefiting women's development in the country. She emphasizes that numerous laws have been enacted to support and promote the advancement of women in Rwanda.
In that procedure of reforming some laws, that's when we even enacted them, particularly those that had been hindering women, and now they are celebrating for their rights. We reformed the Act of Children and Family, which gives the rights both on the family, resource, and the Act regarding on the land, so that even both can have equal rights on their land, which means 50-50, whereas a woman can have that right of recovering the land.
Between 2020 and 2022, loans to women increased by 43%. Gender equality expert Uwiraji Anatole, emphasizes the need for a deliberate focus on determining the proportion of women, even within the realms of economic and financial work. There should be an affirmative action for both sides, including a 30% inclusivity of women in political positions. But here what happens when it comes to economic-wise, why couldn't that act be involved? In other activities such as in the construction or any other activities, hence to also raise up the women's development. The World Bank report features Rwanda, Malaysia, Oman and Sierra Leone as countries that have enacted laws aimed at preventing the dismissal of pregnant women. These nations have also implemented regulations allowing women to receive payments for a duration exceeding 14 weeks of maternity leave. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the details. Now to agriculture matters. The Ministry of Agriculture is urging landowners to fully utilize their cultivated land during this agriculture season. Now, non-compliance may result in penalties. This directive comes at a time when there is still uncultivated land from the previous cropping season when this program was initiated. Adams Kwizera reports.
In the current 2024B crop season, some crops in the fields have begun to sprout, while others have completed sowing process. Farmers indicate that the initiative to cultivate or uncultivated land has yielded positive results, and they're persistently putting in efforts to identify and cultivate such areas to maximize production in this crop season.
There was a time this place was only an idle land that was not in use, but now we found that it was cultivated. We really appreciate this initiative because we are even about to reap what we cultivated here.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Musafir Adafons, emphasizes that the initiative to encourage people to cultivate all available land has posed challenges for some, particularly those with limited resources. However, where the plan has been executed effectively, it has shown positive outcomes.
12,000 hectares muri campaign twakoze last year.
We found 12,000 hectares in a campaign we conducted last year. But there are still other idle and uncultivated lands, but we decided that this time it's a zero tolerance. So here, once we also speed up the zero grazing projects in the Eastern Province, there we will win the battle.
Zero grazing.
The Ministry of Agriculture reports that during the 2024 season crop A, 12 hectares of land remain uncultivated. The objective is to identify and cultivate an additional 20,000 hectares, primarily focusing on livestock farming in the Eastern Province, despite the majority of land being utilized for this purpose.
Two other matters, those in charge for ethics and dispute resolution in political parties in Rwanda have completed a two-day training session aimed at enhancing their knowledge to better enable them to fulfill their duties in collaboration with other political organizations. The participants of this training stated that the knowledge gained will help them fulfill their responsibilities more effectively. We have acquired knowledge on how to resolve conflicts that may arise within a political party based on the laws, and also how to recognize problems at an early stage before they escalate and cause more harm to people. It is important to get close to the people we lead and engage in discussions with them. Additionally, we've learned the importance of exercising discretion.
What I learned the most in this training is how to resolve disputes using the law. We have laws that we utilize to resolve conflicts, and this is particularly relevant to us. We are responsible for ensuring discipline. Additionally, we have individuals in new positions as well as those who have had various positions for some time, especially within the RPF. The newcomers in these positions will greatly benefit from the training, which was one of the key reasons why it was conducted.
Claudette Mukawasebja, the deputy spokesperson of the National Consultative Forum of Political Organizations, emphasizes the critical role of the Dispute Resolution Department within every political organization. She anticipates that these training sessions will significantly enhance the party's capabilities, particularly in preparation for the upcoming elections scheduled for July and September this year. This level needs to be empowered, not only through capacity building, but also by understanding the laws and knowing how to resolve conflicts. These skills will be crucial during the upcoming elections in case they are needed, although I believe that it may not be necessary. However, it's important to note that it's not only required during elections, but also in the everyday operations of every political party. Training was intended for those in charge of ethics and dispute resolution in political parties at this level of the city of Kigali. To other matters, the Anglican Church of Rwanda has consecrated the Reverend Canon Dr. Yasir Andrew Eric to serve as part of the Global Anglican Future Conference that is currently chaired by Rwanda, which has been welcomed by the believers in the country. The fact that we are chairing such a global conference and spreading the message of Christ is a source of pride for us. We cannot preach just within our own borders and must go to the other places as well, which is why we are happy that Bishop Yasir was chosen.
I believe that you are aware that in recent times we have been consecrating bishops and sending them on missions abroad to other countries, which makes us proud, especially when we look back to the way our own country once was. Now we are heading such an important conference like GAFCON that brings together many countries, and we thank God for the honor He has bestowed on us.
The leadership of the Anglican Church of Rwanda also notes on the importance of ensuring that Rwandans play a role in preaching the gospel elsewhere around the world.
The consecration took place here because we chose him for the position in Rwanda, but he will also serve elsewhere around the world where the messianic message is being spread, not just in the Middle East, but in other former Muslim communities globally. The mission will focus on spreading the message of Christ, strengthening Christians and building up his young diocese here in Rwanda, so that it can span others and one day may become what we call a province of the Anglican Church of Rwanda.
From the entire technical and news production team, we extend our heartfelt thanks for tuning in today's broadcast. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Take care and goodbye.